Well, welcome everyone out there in Zoom world. Nice to be with you tonight. My name is Stephen Thomas, and I'm the KAP training course director for PRATI. And I'm just so excited to be doing this tonight. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit of an experiment, but we've practiced it, so it's not flying blind. So yeah, this is our Musings on Music webinar, and it's called Anatomy of a KAP playlist. And a little bit about PRATI for those who maybe don't know that much about us or came upon this somehow for the first time. So PRATI is the Psychedelic Research and Training Institute, and we are a nonprofit organization. We have a vision statement that I'd like to share. So that is that PRATI imagines a world where people flourish and thrive in right relationship with the natural world. And then our purpose is to restore connection to the sacred, self, community, nature, and spirit. And, you know, talking about music just really fits in that wheelhouse, I think, at least the way I see it, of our purpose of, you know, music can be such a portal to the sacred. So I hope that that comes across tonight in the experience that we're going to have together, the music we're going to share. So again, really excited that you're all here. Joining me is my compadre, my co-host, my colleague and friend, Jason St. Nick. And Jason, maybe say just a brief intro about what you do with PRATI.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Jason. I'm a founding member of PRATI, and I help run the PRATI trainings. I recognize some old familiar faces of our friends and colleagues that have joined us in the past. So wonderful to see you guys. Yeah, I help create the curriculum for the PRATI trainings and help make everything run smoothly. And I present on clinical sitting skills and also on music with Stephen. Yeah, just so happy to be a part of this community and see some old faces again. So I'm really excited to share this new playlist that Stephen has created with a larger community.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. Yeah. So Jason also is my inspiration in this. He kind of charted the path in my mind for my entree into how music can support ketamine experiences, specifically in the clinical and therapeutic setting. And I just love the stuff you put together, Jason. So this was, you know, this is maybe the third one of these sublingual playlists that I worked on. And I think I found my stride. So we'll see what y'all think. But it really just, it's a joy to be able to share this. You know, it's really about getting it out there and allowing it to help people, move people through the music. So I got to give you props, Jay.
I return the props, Stephen. We joke because I think Stephen's kind of a master of putting sublingual playlists together, and my forte is kind of more putting IM playlists together. And it's cool that we can share the stage in that way. So nice. It's such an honor to work with you.
It's the peanut butter and the jelly, man. All right. Well, so I'll give y'all a little overview of how this is going to work, or what we intend to do tonight. So first of all, if you have headphones, I would just gently encourage putting them on if you can connect them to your computer, just because we're going to dive into the music. We're going to listen to some of this. So you'll get that more immersive experience if you have that capability. And we'll promise not to screech in your ear. And, you know, for folks that want to be on video, you can. Everyone's muted for now. We will have an opportunity at the end for questions. So we'll do the unmute at that point. But for now, feel free to put your video on and you know, show your face, because people can, you know, I can't really see everyone, but I know y'all can probably cycle through and see each other. So this is really, you know, about building community. For those that have been through our trainings, we really strive to continue to engage and create spaces for us to come together. So this is another example of that. And it's the first of these music webinars. We intend to do more. Hopefully this will be a great launch to that. So there's also going to be a feedback survey at the end. Please let us know what you thought, what worked, what didn't, what you'd like to see more of, and we'll take that to heart and continue to do stuff like this. Let's see, this is going to go about an hour, we're anticipating, and we want to leave time for questions because we think that's going to be really fruitful. So hopefully this can be educational. You're also welcome to throw questions in the chat, and our man behind the scenes, Scooter Lowenstein, will be checking out your questions and pulling some of those out at the end, so we can do some live questions on the mics and also pull some from the chats. All right, Jason, you got some questions for me?
I do. And before I start, I just wanted to make a comment on this playlist that Steven's put together most recently, which is the first of the sublingual sessions playlist series, and we'll get into that in a second. But I just wanted to say that I've listened to this playlist, the one that we're going to listen to tonight, all the way through, both with medicine and without medicine. And surprisingly, the experience was the same in terms of the potency and the power of the experience. And what that tells me, which I've known for a long time, but this particular playlist put it into light for me and clarified this for me, is that the music is sometimes more important than the medicine itself. And if I had the same experience with both, well, and they were both extremely powerful, one with medicine, one without, well, that shows you how much the music itself carries the journey forward and the inner experience that you have, or at least that I had. So just wanted to name that. And again, as we know, music is one of the best tools for integration that we have. And so I've also listened to it beyond those two sessions, and it's been such a joy to integrate my experiences with this playlist as well. So
awesome.
Yeah, so I just have a couple of questions for you, Stephen, before we dive into the music itself. I was curious about what your goals and intentions were with the decision to create the Sublingual Sessions playlist series.
Yeah. So, what we've done with our trainings is really trying to hold the principles and the philosophy of the power of music with these medicines. And I think we've done a cool job with that. It's been something that we've gotten a lot of great feedback on, and so we put together the Spotify account that we have, the PRATI music account. If you guys haven't followed us, if you have Spotify, if you're able to get on there and follow us, you'll see the playlist that we have available. And that's, seeing that this could be this platform that we have to be able to share these playlists and get them out into the community, so that practitioners and clients are all able to use them. That just kind of sparked something for me, that we could use this platform to showcase more than just what you and I are doing, right? More than just what Jason and Stephen kind of come up with in our spare time, which I wish I could do more of it. But there's so many people that I know, and probably that that are incredible, have incredible ears for music, and are clinicians as well, perhaps, or they're DJs or artists in other forms that they have their own aesthetic and approach to this. And so I was just, inspired to create something that perhaps we can use to showcase some other artists, and get some other approaches out there. So it's not just the Jason and Stephen show on here. So that was the idea. And I kicked it off with this one. And focusing on sublingual, I think, gives people some room to stretch into a lot of different terrain, because the sublingual experiences can have a lot of depth and subtlety to them, whereas the IM approach may have may benefit from maybe a stronger, energetic tempo. There's not as much room to stretch out. I mean, you got the 12 minutes of swish time, for example. You got a longer duration of drug effects to stretch out into. So that was the idea, was, well, maybe let's just do like a sublingual sessions and we'll see what we can come up with.
Love it. And frankly, we need the help, right? Like we probably don't have the time to keep creating different playlists. So if we can get help from the Prati community
Absolutely.
to make new ones and curate more, that, we're definitely we're very open to that. So yeah.
Yes. So if y'all are inspired and you think that you have something that you'd like to share that maybe we could put out, we can't guarantee that we'll be able to put everything out that people send to us, but perhaps something really stands out and is really special and we'd love to share it on our platform. We would be open to doing that. So you could email me, kaptraining@pratigroup.org, a link to your playlist if you have one. Yeah.
And Stephen, my second question is, what were your goals and intentions with this particular playlist, the first of the series?
Right.
Maybe how is it different than the other sublingual playlists that you've created for trainings in the past?
Sure. I think you're going to probably have some great insight into this, because as the kind of curator myself, I'm kind of close to it to be able to discern what the really distinctiveness might be from other ones I've done. But I will say that I wanted to go deep. I wanted this to be atmospheric, subterranean, textured, but also really gentle. And I really was aiming for something that would be varied musically, but have a cohesiveness throughout, so that I wanted the whole thing to just gel with no kind of jarring departures from that quality. So that was it. It was, if you look at the album art, so to speak, that I used, it's aquatic, right? So it was just this kind of plunge into the depths with textures, with layers, with like kind of a journey container that just plumbs the depths. So that was the idea.
Well, and from personal experience, it really does seem to encapsulate and represent the totality of the human experience, both in shadow, realms, and also in transcendent realms, and all in between. And so the variedness and the texture of this particular playlist is just so it's so there. You don't get it with every playlist, and this movement in and out and up and down and through and dark and light, and it's just that I think this playlist is my favorite of yours for that reason, because of the texture and the variedness of it, and how it fills the spectrum of human experience. So
wow.
So maybe with that said, might be a good time to dive in.
Yeah.
And start to explore
take the plunge.
This. Yeah.
All right. Grab your life vest. Actually take your life vest off. We want to go deep. Cool. I'm going to jump to my Spotify screen in just a second. And before that, I'll just give people a little overview of the structure of the playlist. So it's a little over 2 hours. And that was intended to match the length of a typical sublingual KAP session. I know some folks may do 3-hour sessions or maybe even longer, but the music is probably not playing for the full 3 hours. So this gives time for, if your session kind of wraps up early, there's more songs to play in the room while you're processing. If it does go past the 2-hour mark, I think it's maybe like 2 hours and 10 or 15 minutes. So you've got some room to stretch out. We've got 12 minutes of swish time built in strategically with the song selection. So I'll talk a little bit about that when I show the screen. And then using Spotify for folks that have taken our training, we personally use Spotify, and we've kind of built our approach around that tool. but it has that crossfade ability. So actually, I'll just go ahead and share my screen so I can show you guys something here. Okay. Jason, are you able to see that?
I am.
Okay. So here in the description, it says music for sublingual ketamine sessions, mix of electronic and acoustic sounds, immersive, spacious, and subterranean. And then you got the switch time in there and then the playback crossfade. So this is something that I'm putting into the descriptions of all of our playlists to give people a sense of, you know, if you really want to dial it in the way that we've kind of built it, you know, thereabouts where to set the crossfade to get what, you know, what we've decided might be the best effect. So with that said, shall we dive in?
Let's.
And Jason, where should we start?
I think let's start. How about Into Some Spirit World? This track is timed so that it's really right at the end of the swishing period. So kind of right at the 12-minute mark. The first two are just more like welcoming tracks that just kind of are holding you, but kind of just very spacious and atmospheric, kind of
Right.
little dream-like, and Into Some Spirit World kind of ends that swishing period. So we wanted to kind of talk about that track and then the next track.
Perfect. So yeah, like you were saying, the dissolving clouds and this I love Stars of the Lid, by the way. If you I think Mendel Kaelen uses a lot of Stars of the Lid at the beginning of his playlist. Mendel Kaelen, illustrious psychedelics and music researcher. So these opening ones are kind of they're opening the invocation, and then as we get towards the end of this 12-minute swish period, this track really bridges to the end of the 12 minutes. And so at this stage, people are typically going to be you know, spitting out or swallowing the medicine and putting on the headphones and the eye shades. That would be kind of at the close of this track. So it's that bridge between we're feeling the onset of the medicine, maybe still connected with our therapist or guide, and now about to dive in. So let's get a little taste of that. Jump ahead a little bit. Okay. What do you think about this one, Jason?
Yeah, it's like a gate opening track. It's like we're opening up into a different realm of being in a soft, gentle, welcoming way. And I love the repetitive nature of it. It's so soothing. It's almost like it's on a loop, you know.
And it's got like a coasty kind of, it's almost like being in a boat that's like gently rocking or something, you know. So it's kind of that, it almost, now that I say that, it's almost like the surface of the water.
Yes.
Right. We're just kind of drifting, coasting back and forth, and it's comforting, right? It's like it's very inviting and comforting to me.
Yes. Very spacious.
I also love the title of the song, Into Some Spirit World.
That's perfect.
It's kind of perfect, right? We're entering another realm. There's also like the production, that little fuzz that comes, a little distorted fuzz. It's just so sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know, I love it.
Gives you a little texture.
Yes. And it just continues like this. What I think I'm gonna do is just jump the marker up to where it's gonna do the cross. Well, it's almost there. Let's let it do it naturally. So we're gonna hear the crossfade happen here.
And this is where we're swallowing the music around this time.
Swallowing the medicine.
And the music, both.
Okay, so
Yes.
here. And it just blends right into this.
Here comes the percussion.
So eye shades are probably on. People are settling in, dropping into this one. Die Dinge des Lebens. That means, I looked it up, it's German for the things of life.
And this is the first percussion in the first, in the playlist.
Yes.
This is where the drums come in.
Very gentle.
Yes. It's kind of a little hypnotic. It's kind of like this contemporary drumming. That cymbal.
That cymbal reminds me of like a shaman's rattle.
Yes.
It's just this rhythmic cha 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 cha.
And it's like now we're moving. Starting to move. No longer on the boat floating, but we're moving now.
They're starting the descent. And all those little touches, it's very cyclical. That one melody keeps going, but these other things just kind of weave in and out. And I'm hearing that sound in my left ear. So you've got some stereo pan go. Now it's to the middle, moving to the right. Very beautiful track. Mesmerizing, right? Very hypnotic.
It's like I get to feel like anything is possible. Like, this journey holds such potential. It's like anything could happen, and this is kind of preparing us. It's kind of setting the stage for that infinite possibility.
And with a kind of mysterious vibe too, right? It's almost like a minor tonality, but there's still these sweet elements that hold it where it doesn't feel scary.
Yes.
That the bass guitar is just really sweet. You can hear it in the background. So many textures. Bring us out of this one so that continues another couple of minutes. So should we go to the next one, Millicent?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So I'm gonna jump us to the crossfade so we can hear how that sounds. I love the crossfades.
Me too.
Okay, so now we're in another space. It's a layer deeper. This to me is probably the most aquatic of all the songs on here. It's just, I just imagine just being like swimming with the whales.
The the spaciousness of this track, it like feels like we're in like this womb-like realm,
Yeah.
or like a cloud space, right? Maybe floating on clouds.
Yeah, it's definitely floating.
Yes.
Pretty angelic.
It's like we're fully immersed now. I think pretty much everyone's feeling the onset of the medicine, right? On some level.
I think this is about 20, this bridge is from 20 to 25 minutes from the start, from taking the medicine, so. Yeah. Those pads and layers.
I love how long this track is. It's like almost 9 minutes. It's like, here we are, we can just explore in a supportive, spacious atmosphere that may not be of this world, or maybe it is of this world, but we have time in here to just play and
stretch out.
Yeah.
Oh, see, there's these little sounds. Can you hear this? These little, almost like whispers. One thing I love about this track is how ambient it is, but it has the gentlest percussion to keep it moving.
Yes.
It starts to pick up more. That's some Journey music.
Yeah, it's like the percussion is like this invitation to move forward in whatever direction you're moving.
Right.
You know, and to keep the journey moving forward. I think without the percussion, maybe it might be a little marooning, right?
Yeah.
Or where it's like overly spacious, but that percussion just drives you forward.
And this is something that we talk about in our trainings, with wanting to keep elements going that have some sort of a forward motion to them, whether it's percussion or melodic structure, so that you don't feel like you're getting stuck.
Yeah.
And this does it perfectly.
And the medicine has its own tempo of forward movement, whether it's sublingual or IM. And so the idea is to kind of match that forward movement with the music. And the medicine will meet that movement halfway with the music.
They just work kind of beautifully together. It's just such a synergy. Yeah. All right, I think we'll fade this one down. And then where to? What's the next stop?
Let's go to Pietre Roventi.
Awesome. I love this one. By Populus. I came across this Populus artist, and a lot of this stuff wasn't really appropriate for ketamine medicine. And this one, I was like, that's it. There it is. I think I might jump. It's got such a beautiful intro. I know it really like picks up in a cool way, and maybe we'll let it play and it'll open its space, and then we'll hear it when it picks up.
Yeah, the percussion doesn't have to continue from one track to the next, right? You can have a break where it's like, oh, there's this floaty, dreamy feel again, right? That I heard in the previous track, right? And there's a place to just rest for a while, right?
I love that. I specifically often will look for songs that have an ambient intro. They're easier to crossfade. They're not going to step on top of each other, and it gives you a little space. Often those tracks will build in a really beautiful way.
Yeah, because if you fade one percussion track right into the next, the beats can be off.
Yeah.
It can feel a little awkward.
It's jarring.
Yeah.
So this one is a builder. Very gently. Here we go. So many textures. Jason, what's the mood of this?
I mean, for me, it's like, I mean, there's like, it's like, for me, it kind of takes me into like space a little bit. Or maybe just the upper atmosphere, right, of the sky or something. I'm like off the ground.
You go into the air, and I feel that
you go subterranean.
Well, subaquatic.
Subaquatic, yes.
This is a cool breakdown. I really like this. Soak this one up. So here you can take advantage of that aesthetic of dance music with the breakdown, but it's not overwhelming. The energy build. Really working with the tension and release. I'm gonna pull us out of this. It does build up one more time, but in the interest of time.
Stephen, was that a vocal track recorded on there? It sounded like a female voice. Yeah, or
it's either a sampled vocal or it's a patch on a keyboard that's like a vocal patch.
I see. Okay.
But I think it might be a vocalist, and it's just really well mixed in there.
So powerful.
Okay, so that, that's still kind of in the uplifting realms, the dreamy uplifting realms. We're not going to play the next one, right? We're going to skip Dreamer's Wake, which does constitute a major shift kind of tonally into more of, I would say, maybe a darker, more shadow space. But we wanted to do this one, right? This Natural XT.
Right, and Natural XT also goes into the dark subterranean
It
caverns.
continues it. So basically from this track to 8, 9, and 10 is like a segment of darker tonal elements that, that was strategic. I was like, okay, let's take the next turn in the journey and let's do some shadow work.
Yes.
So let's see what it sounds like when we get to Natural XT. I love this track. One of my intentions with this playlist was I have to work this track in. Because it's a little bit more abstract. I'm such a techno fan, and this touches into that realm a bit for me. So very different than the other tracks. Still really spacious though. This is the most percussive, centered track. And you'll hear that in a second.
Here we are traveling through the shadow realms, right?
Absolutely. world.
Subterranean, maybe. I get the feel like I'm in a cave, underground cave, maybe with water in it, and there's sound bouncing off the sides of the cave.
I think the spot that I want to hear comes. Okay. It's so sparse and beautiful. Kind of jungly. There you go. So then it opens up that spaciousness with those little hits. The reverb and the delay. Bring us out of this one. Noticing we want to play some more and time is kind of slipping away. So let's see. The timelessness of music and ketamine is not conducive to a abbreviated Zoom session. So let's see. Where should we jump to, Jane?
Let's go to Mount Baker. Speaking of change in atmosphere and environment and out of the shadow and into something else.
Yeah, this is a bridge track. This changes the emotional terrain. Still that ambient intro. I'm gonna jump us ahead a little bit.
There's a playfulness and a lightness. It's got this kind of Eastern feel to it. Like I imagine myself in the rice fields of Central Asia, maybe hiking the Yellow Mountains.
Beautiful. That playfulness really comes through. Very cyclical. So you get the forward motion from the cycling melody. There's no percussion to do it. All right. Where to next?
Let's go to Cascades. One of my favorites. Big shift.
Big shift.
What did you call it, Stephen? Like a music box lullaby.
Yeah, this just sounds like music box to me.
I get a feeling of like wonder, like I'm 5 years old and it's snowing outside and I'm looking up at the snowy sky and watching the snowflakes fall on my face. And it's just magical.
The shimmery part right there.
It's also this kind of general feeling that it's all going to be okay.
Yeah. You said when we listened to this before, you said nostalgic.
Yes.
I love that it's clean and gentle and crisp, but it's also kind of intense. It's got an intensity to it. It's also a really brief song. It's one of the shortest songs in the playlist, so you don't have to, it's intense, but it doesn't last that long. So you're kind of just in it for a few minutes.
It's like a refreshing refrain, right? A refreshing little break.
Right. If it went on for 8 minutes, that would be too long.
Yeah, agreed.
It's also 3/4 times. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's like a waltz kind of vibe, which is dreamy. It's just really dreamy to me. It breaks out of that typical kind of 4/4 electronic music vibe. So that's Cascades.
So let's go to Colby Park next.
You really
This has
like
kind
this
of-
one, yeah?
Yeah. It has like, for me, it has almost like a movie soundtrack feel to it.
Okay, I can hear that. Yeah, it's like strolling through the park.
Like strolling through Central Park or something.
Central
right?
Park.
Yeah.
Maybe like old timey movie. Like I'm imagining some like, some streetcars or
Yeah.
old school automobiles.
Love it. Takes you back in time. I love it. I love that choral patch coming in.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hopeful and inspirational.
Uplifting.
Yeah.
Kind of joyful and dreamlike.
Yes. This is another one of those where it's like it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
The tracks, right?
And I love to do that. I love to pepper these uplifting tracks throughout, so that you just keep getting. It's like the tension and release. It's like the salve after you've done some work.
Yes.
Also very cyclical, very loopy. Blum, 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 blum. And you also get the organic with the piano and the strings, with the organic instrumentation.
Yes.
So it's grounded in a way. Very beautiful. Okay. So speaking of grounded and organic, we wanted to showcase.
Yeah, I met her by the river.
I met her by the river. Okay. So this is a Gambian artist playing the traditional kora instrument. I did some research. So this is the classical traditional instrument of Gambian culture.
It's like a movement back into the earthly and back into the human. And
so this is journey-wise, we're in the descent phase now. The journeyers is most likely coming back. The effects of the medicine, they're probably waning. They're starting to reintegrate. If they dissociated, they're probably aware again of their body. And it is just that instrument. That's it. With some reverb.
It's so melancholic, right?
Yeah.
But so beautiful at the same time.
I like to call it bittersweet.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah. So when we talk about using evocative music, this is quintessential evocative music. upload a master. I wanted to just jump and show people the crossfade here because I was really enjoyed how it came together. Let's see. So listen to this. It's just so sweet. I love the birds coming in. Okay. We'll close it out with one from the end here. Pick one.
Oh man, I'm torn between Mountain Path and Cosimo in Los Arboles, but let's go with Cosimo.
Cosimo.
Yeah.
So where are we at in the journey space here, Jason? We're towards the end of the playlist.
Yeah, I think some people are probably out or back already. Maybe
Back in the room.
Yeah, back in their bodies, back in their room. Maybe some ordinary mind thoughts are popping up, but they're still in a very reflective space, right? Just reflecting on where they journeyed and the material that arose, and there's a place of rest here, and this track really encourages rest and reflection,
like nourishment.
And nourishment, yeah. This is like a homecoming song. It's like welcome back.
I just feel nourished right now listening to it.
Yeah, my heart is full.
Beautiful. Yeah, and then it just builds. I strategically chose songs that never reach like a crazy crescendo. If they build to like a gentle level. Sometimes those crescendos can be a little too much. Oh, that melody is so good.
So sweet.
Just listen to the last note. And I think it repeats. Yeah. Very dreamy. And you know, at this point, they may be headphones off. If there's a speaker in the room playing the music, they're processing with their therapist perhaps. And you still, that's why we advocate for having the music in the room as well as in the headphones, because then you get to have this as your backdrop. And I'll usually just turn it down a bit, but it'll still be playing as a gentle support, you know, while we're just kind of gently speaking with each other.
Yeah.
I find that to be just so supportive rather than just like a quiet room after you're still in the medicine space. So these last songs of the playlist all have that kind of a quality to them, just dreamy, supportive, nourishing, very ambient, and it just drifts into like full ambience with this last one. So, whew, we have come back.
I feel like I just went on a journey.
Yeah, you and me both. That was fun. Well, let's see. We got some time left. If there's some folks that might want to ask any questions, let me unshare the screen here. I see Valerie's comment that a lot of the songs in there show up in the playlists that Valerie makes as well. That's awesome. So excited to hear that. Beautiful tracks that also happen. This is from Laura. Hi, Laura. Beautiful tracks that also happen to be in films. How do you weigh out the beauty with the potential association someone might have with it? Great question.
It's a really good question, because we want to minimize prior associations and familiarity when at all possible. But just because the track sounds soundtracky, like it could be in the movie, obviously doesn't mean that it was in a movie. Are you referring to? Were you aware of any of the tracks that were in movies that you've
Specifically
seen? That's what I'm curious about. I have one playlist called, I know of one playlist called New Ceremony, and it's like all soundtrack tracks. It feels like it's like a movie, but they're all really supportive, and apparently none of them were actually in movies. I could be wrong about that, but none of them seemed familiar to me, but it still had this like supportive soundtrack, almost like I was the protagonist in a movie, right? And very gentle and soft and supportive and atmospheric, and some of those, I think some of those tracks can be, some of the best tracks. But yeah, you want to steer clear of any like specific movie tracks that people would know.
Yep. Yeah, I think from my awareness of the movies that I've seen, I hadn't heard any of these songs before, like in movies or really played in at shows or anything. Like these are all really new to me. So that's how I gauge it, being fairly familiar with music. If they're new to me, then I can feel pretty confident that most people aren't going to have heard them before. I wouldn't do like I mean, there's
The ET
exceptions.
soundtrack.
Right. There are exceptions, and sometimes that can be powerful. But usually, I tell the story in a training that one client wanted to make his own playlist specifically to go into memories that had some trauma work or grief work he wanted to do around that. And it was very effective for him. But I would never use that playlist with someone else. It was all like, it was literally the Star Wars theme music and Mario Brothers and stuff like that. But it worked. It worked for him. He says call on Rob next.
There I go. Hi, you hear me?
Yep.
Here, yeah.
Hi. Good to see some of you who I know. Hi, and others whom I don't. Just still new to me figuring out some pieces of this. So depending on where the journeyer is in their life, in their experience, in their mood, their tenor, their temper, how to select a list that helps support them without, I don't know what, provoking to a place that's they're not ready for, not open to. How to gauge how much dark to imbue in the journey, or when to move forward. This is language you might speak readily. I'm trying to find a way to even articulate it. But that's a big question. I mean, this list looks right, but I wonder, is this list right for everyone at every time? And how do you even know?
It's a great question. My short answer is I find that like I have a handful of sublingual playlists that I just love because of their texturedness and variety, and their dark and light tracks, right? And the movement from slow tempo to fast tempo, and it's just all encompassing of the human experience. And I will use those one of those 4 or 5 playlists for everyone for their first sublingual session, right? And I might choose one that I feel is a little bit lighter if someone's like, say, just lost their dog, or has lost a loved one and is in a dark space. I might choose one that's a little more uplifting in general. Mm-hmm. But I think it's also important to have some dark tracks in there so that there is the opportunity to do some shadow work around the grief, right? Or around their anger, and if it's all uplifting, then there's no opportunity there to explore maybe why they walked through the door of the clinic for help. And so I trust the individual's ability to connect with their inner healing intelligence, and I trust the music and the medicine to bring them where they need to go. And so I never feel like a playlist is too overwhelming for someone, as long as it's thoughtfully picked out in advance, to support both shadow and light work. So that's my short answer.
Yeah, I would just kind of echo what you said there. I mean, my approach when creating my playlist is to try and make them as generally supportive as possible for all people and all purposes. So trying to put that diverse range of like Jason was saying, the tension and release, the transcendent with the more melancholic, and balancing it so that it's not like half an hour of darker music, maybe 10 minutes, and then give them the salve afterwards. So if you can dip in and out of these states, it tends to be my approach to that is that tends to be more appropriate or more tolerable to kind of dip in and out, right? We don't have to pummel the melancholic emotions. So and then we also chat with people ahead of time of like, if you really feel like you are annoyed with a song or you just don't like it, maybe sit with it another 30 seconds and see if it's just an emotional aspect of yourself that you're struggling with that you might be able to work with. And then just say something. If you can say, can you please change the track if it's really sticking for you? Generally that works. I've had people do that, and then the next track is different, and they loosen up, and that and then they can flow.
Yeah, I use code words, not code words, but just like simple words like track if they want to move to the next track, or if they say playlist, I'll change the playlist altogether. We'll just try something totally different, right? I mean, we wouldn't go from like a sublingual to an IM playlist, but I would go to like another sublingual playlist. And so I want them to have the power to move out of that space if they're stuck there. And then also some headphones have the forward button, right? And you can just forward to the next track, so they have full control over the music.
Thanks so much for those reflections. Very helpful. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
I just saw that when we were speaking, Valerie wrote pendulation. I'm assuming she's talking about the dipping in and out of the more difficult, challenging emotional space. So yeah, exactly. Musical pendulation. Yeah. Let's see. Valerie had a question. I'm curious about how you think about balancing the supportive versus driving nature of the playlist. Music is sometimes more important than the medicine. It can really drive the experience. How do we know that we aren't manipulating versus allowing what needs to emerge to emerge? You want to take that one, Jay?
Yeah, the first thought I had in response is, you don't have to use music. Dr. Elias Dakwar, and he's in New England somewhere. I know Scott would know, but he doesn't use music during his KAP sessions. He uses meditation instruction, and it's just this gentle coaching to stay with the breath as the medicine comes on, in silence, right? And how to stay with the breath and stay present. And it's not impacted or influenced by any musical in any musical direction. I've never tried that myself, but to answer your question, the hope is that what will emerge and what needs to emerge and what needs your attention will emerge, will surface with the music. And there's a trust that I have as the therapist, just to hold space for that and to trust the music and the medicine to help someone traverse the territory they need to traverse in any given session. I feel like it's less manipulating in nature and more like you said, it's more allowing. It's providing the musical landscape in which they're going to explore. And what they explore is up to them. That material comes from within. But the landscape gives you the ground to walk on, or the water to float on, or the air to fly
Right.
in.
Yeah, I appreciate how you framed that. And I would say that, you know, the music is the language of emotions, and we're using it to evoke emotions. And as I kind of described in the answer to the previous question, you know, not like using that pendulating, you're not really pushing things too hard in one direction, but providing, like, I would use another analogy of like a palette of colors. You know, you want to provide a rainbow of colors, and then what is going to come through personal, you know, that's going to come out in the person's material, emotions, memories, they're going to paint their own picture with it. But we're just providing the palette, right? So there's no way to know, like, oh, this is guaranteed going to bring up this, you know, this trauma that they had, or this fight that they had. Like, we don't even know, you know, you have no idea what's going to come up. That's the mystery of it. And the client journeyer has no idea what's going to come up. But we just provide the environment or the palette with the music, and then the mystery kind of unfolds from there. So
And I guess I want to add one more thing to that is, if they come in with the intention of really wanting to do some shadow work, or that's really their intention, and they want to go deep into their grief, and they're requesting some kind of, maybe some more darker music to do that with, I'm always open to that, and I can choose a playlist that has more darker tonality to it.
mhm.
You know, so if it's coming from them and they're wanting to go there, and they're requesting maybe darker music, or they're wanting more uplifting music because of their dog passing or something, right? Like, then I'll provide that. But if it's not requested, you have to just trust that what needs to emerge will emerge.
Yeah, I like that. And just to kind of plug the next playlist that I have lined up, or that we have lined up for this sublingual sessions, is going to be coming from a close friend and DJ artist of ours, who has a bit of his aesthetic is very different than Jason and I's, and it, to some degree, you could call more challenging, even though a lot of the music's pretty gentle. It's very electronic, and kind of abstract. And I think for some folks, it's likely to dig a little bit at more, you know, more challenging material. And so we'll have that as an offering, right? It's just like, well, I know, you know, maybe if someone is interested in going there, you know, that might be a playlist that you might try. It'll be also for sublingual, but we'll probably do this same approach and walk through that playlist as well. So can kind of walk you through the songs and the ideas, but having, you know, other palettes, other tonal palettes to work with playlist wise, instead of just everything being general, is a good idea for the reasons Jason just named. Let's see if there's another question that came through. We might do one or two more if people are still on here. Someone asked, is there a way to preserve the fade settings in Spotify across devices? I don't think so. I think that if I'm remembering correctly, when I access Spotify on my phone, it has the playlist settings, or the crossfade settings from the last time I changed it on my phone. And when I go to my computer, it's the last setting I left it on my computer. So you will need to go in and tweak that as needed. So it's a good question.
And for those of you who don't know, the crossfade is under the tab playback in settings, and we usually recommend like a crossfade somewhere between 4 and 10 seconds.
Yeah,
I have mine on 6 right now, but I like the 9 in this playlist. That was really nice.
yeah. Any other questions? I have to say this was a lot of fun.
It was so wonderful seeing you guys. Just such a magical thing to be back with the community again and
Absolutely.
share our energy together around music.
Hey, Scooter, can we open up everyone's mic so people could just say goodbye if that's what we're doing now? Seems like there's no more questions. Mics are open. All right. So if there's no other questions, give it another moment to see. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick
Go
one?
for it.
So is there any way to like catalog or to decipher like beforehand, like, all right, so this is like a really, I'll just say easy breezy, rather than like, if you want somebody who's been doing it and wants a more challenging playlist to say, this is challenging. No,
Yeah, Suzanne, I think
wonderful.
you're talking about like labeling the playlist somehow through
Yeah.
Spotify as gentle or challenging or darker or yeah, I mean, it really would have to be written into the title of it by whoever made it. I don't know of, and Stephen, I don't know if you know of a way to like tag certain playlists.
Spotify won't let you add any kind of a tag or descriptor to a playlist that someone else made. So for example, like one of the PRATI ones, you would kind of just have to know, right, from experience, be like, oh yeah, the KAP number 2, you know, the I am number 2 has this kind of style to it that might work well. So you kind of learn it as you go, just like knowing like what's the right album to put on to suit a certain mood, you know. Because you gain some familiarity with it. I will say that I am trying to put that in the descriptions of the playlist. So you have the name and then you have the description information. So we might say gentle, gentler, more, you know, I think I even use the word gentle for your sublingual one, Jason, that we have up there, because that's a very gentle playlist. It's sublingual KAP 3, I think is what we call it on PRATI music. And I wrote in the description gentle. So, you know, adding a little descriptors in there can be helpful. And then just as you go, you kind of just gain some familiarity with the different playlists.
Yeah, I loved how you said that it's a palette. That really is a great descriptor, because different people come up with different things, but also different playlists really can evoke, you know, a deeper or gentler journey. So
Right.
thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Oh, you're so welcome. Good to see you. We could maybe do one more quick one since people are still hanging out. Most people have dropped off, it looks like.
Is anyone practicing now that it has any interesting stories around the different playlists that you've tried in your sessions with clients, or any not so, like any stories that didn't unfold smoothly?
I had a session. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Darren.
Hey guys, I had a session where I had just given the idea like one finger to skip tracks, and it was like skips. There were so many tracks that he was skipping. And the next session I was like, and I preloaded that with ideally just if there's something that's really tough, a track that's hard versus it being what you're liking or
Yeah.
But that was kind of funny, and it reminded me of that idea also of your point about getting stuck, because a lot of the tracks I think were those repetitive loops that I think can be they can hold you and carry you, potentially depending on where you're at, can also annoy you. And so it's interesting finding that balance is fun. Really great tips and what you guys have teased out of this stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, Darren, I've had that. I had a session with like similar to that where they were just skipping many of the tracks.
Yeah.
And you know, that's how the session went. I wasn't going to interrupt them in that. and take away their agency, but chatted with them about it afterwards. Just like, well, what was coming up for you? And for her, it was just, I just don't like this style. I'm just not into electronic music. So we went with something else next time. Yeah.
Yeah,
I do want to do like classical. I want to put together a classical playlist without electronics elements as an option for folks.
Yeah, I tell people, I'm like, we're not looking for music that you like to hear in the car while you're driving, right? This is journey music, right? You may like certain tracks, you may not like certain tracks, but it's not like we want to, you know, like forward if you're not liking the track, or if this is not music that you like, that's not a reason to forward the track, right? Let's see what's involved in exploring that space, and is what you don't like the material that's being unearthed and excavated inside you, or is it the music itself, right? So that's why we recommend people stay with a track for, you know, maybe 30 seconds more than they would normally before they skip to the next one.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap up. And for those that are left here, thanks for hanging in and thanks for being a part of this community.
So wonderful to see you guys.
Take it easy, guys. Thanks so much.
All right. Good night.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.